God is incomplete without you, that came from. So grandeur, if you looked it up in a dictionary, which I did, is like splendor, like this, like, so think of like what's the most splendorous, impressive thing. That's grandeur. Think of that as the word. And grandeur is of God and only of him. But when God is missing you, when God is incomplete without you, he is missing his completeness, his grandeur, his splendor, and always calling you back to him, because without you, the grandeur is not as impressive as with you. Now, grandiosity is, I think I got it pulled up here in the definition, I'll read it out, is an exaggerated sense of one's own self, importance, ability, and worth, which is very interesting. You might be like, well, if you use grandeur, this is what the ego would try to do. If you use grandeur, you're thinking you're really, really impressive. No, it's of God. It's just because you are a part of him, you are already, in truth, that amazing. But grandiosity is of the ego, where we think of ourselves maybe highlier than we are in our own ways. And many, many people do this. Most of us have all done this at some point. And some of the things I probably say here and there probably makes me sound like grandiosity. But that is because it is coming from the ego. Now, the challenge is the ego tricks you. It goes from grandiosity to littleness. Littleness is when you think less of yourself, like God has all these plans, all this truth, all this goodness for you. But most of us, and many, many times in our life, we just accept a little scraps from the table and we're fine with it. And we just hope to get by. Now, the ego, and you have those times where you're down and out. And we talk about this all the time on the show, if you watched it before, where you're not feeling as good about yourself. So many people spend most of their time in littleness. But then every once in a while, you go into the grandiosity, like, well, at least I'm better than that person who kind of sucks at their stuff. and we bounce back from littleness to grandiosity. And that keeps us out of the grandeur of God, out of the truth, into the missing aspect where God is incomplete without us, because we're outside the kingdom. We're living outside the kingdom. So interesting words. I would love it if you ever pick up the Course of Miracles, to turn to chapter 9. It's not going to make any sense unless you start reading first, but just try to read that section. It's on, at least in my book, on page 177, but there's other versions where it starts, because grandeur is from God. Grandiosity is from the ego. The ego bounces you back and forth from littleness to grandiosity. And it just gets you confused. That's why your life is probably messed up. Just saying. That's what the ego does. And grandeur is like, I am living in it. I'm walking in it. I'm believing in it. I'm trusting in the truth of God. And I'm moving forward, resting in his ways, resting in his word, walking with him, knowing that Holy Spirit's there guiding me and listening. So am I there yet? No. But we're fleshing this out. We're understanding it better. I'm passing what I can to you in these short 3, 4, 5 minute shows.